Hello, hello. All right, guys. So I'm going on early today because I'm like trying to aim at spending a little bit more time with my family because I'll tell you, as an advocate, we stay crazy busy and I am totally OCD. So I am very thorough when it comes to everything that I do. I'm plugging in my computer. So it's like just one of those things for me that I have to, when I do something, I do it and I don't skim on it, if you will. So it takes time. So I've been in a ton of IEP meetings lately. You know how at Christmas time things are like capped. So everything then falls into, January. And to this day, guys, man, every IEP something else. It's always something else, And I was actually talking to the director of special education in my area. Okay. And I always leave names out. I feel that it's just not right, whether you like them or not, you just don't do that. I know everybody's like, oh, go to the internet and bitch about this person or this person. Not my style. We're all going to get mad at people. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Kind of being vindictive like that isn't who I am. So here's the deal. Post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. You only got 3 times, so you might as well post that 1. Tell us where you are from. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. You guys know what to do. Hello, page, group, and YouTube. All right. So post your questions. You'll see the streaming across, okay, the video screen. And you want to put, if you haven't done it yet, StreamYard.com/Facebook. All right. So it's StreamYard. I'm just going to write it this time. .com/Facebook. Now you can do the whole HTTP blah, blah, blah if you want in front of it. All right. So I just did that. So make sure that you go ahead and grab that. Okay. So I just posted that. Go ahead and click that. If you have not clicked it yet, it's a Facebook thing. I apologize. It's a pain in the butt, just me telling you guys, oh, go ahead and you have to click this and, so I can see your picture, the little circle picture in your Facebook picture. That's all it is. But when you're streaming, Facebook has this like hard stop to it. So you have to say, click yes, she can see my picture. If not, it just says Facebook user, and I have no idea who's commenting. That's all. Hi, Bill. Hi, Kim. Hi, Nakaya. Hopefully I said that right. Again, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Tell me where you are from. And we will. Hi, Heather. How are you? I'm a 2 from Pennsylvania. Are you doing discovery calls? I am. And I have I had 4 spots yesterday. I have 3 spots today. So that I'm taking for February. All right. But you get going now and then we get started in February. All right. Because there's a lot that you got to get me anyway. So hey Aaron, how are you? So I've realized like if I'm going to do TikTok, I have to like do a bunch in one day. So you should see me, guys. It's funny as shit. All right. So I'm just going to tell you this funny story and then I'm going to get to it. So what I do is I get 50 million different shirts, change up my shirts and do different TikToks. That's what everybody does. That is the secret, okay? Because do you think that we just go do a TikTok and then we just post it? Most people don't. All right. So, like, I have like 5, 6, 7, 8 shirts. I do a bunch of TikToks and then I post them randomly. That's what people do. Okay. Um, so I just told you my secret and probably everybody else's. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. All right. Um, Lately, I've had like so much in my head that it's like almost hard to get out. Like I have so much information, it's like just stuck. But no, seriously, I have come across one hell of a read. It is a due process case. So I think I told you guys yesterday I mentored with an attorney, all right, that is one of the top attorneys in the United States for special education. Okay. Yeah, I had to pay for it. It wasn't one of my contacted attorneys where I have a relationship with them and, I help them out, they help me out, kind of thing. No, I had to pay this dude. But he gave me a ton of really good information. There was questions, of course, that I went into it with, and then he filled me in. He obviously knew of who I was. He had seen me on Facebook and stuff like that. And um he knew that I was a no bullshitter kind of advocate, and which he loved, which I thought that was pretty cool because, like I said yesterday, I question that sometimes, but in all honesty, I'm not going to change. I'm not in this for IEP teams to like me. I'm not. Do I care if they like me? Honestly, no. Um, do I care when they say in the IEP meeting, you're rude? It's funny because Karen was just talking about this, the special education boss. You guys should definitely follow her too. She's great. And I am not an advocate that says, oh, don't follow this person. They're competition to me. We don't have competition, y'all. There's so many special ed children in the United States that there's not enough advocates to take care of it all. Okay. So, which is why, after my membership and my present levels course is coming, I know I'm late. I know. Go figure. But it's coming in the next couple weeks, like very soon. And then I'm going to be starting mentorships in teaching people how to become advocates. And, I've seen a lot of advocates out there, do kind of that group training, if you will. Um, and I don't know if that's the way I want it to go, because when I learned the hard way. I had to teach myself, with all the pitfalls and all the screw ups that most of us all do. Um, and I figured it out, but, it took years. I mean, years. I mean, you don't even wanna think about wasting that much time that I did, with my story. Um, but it's kinda like you wanna get your IEP in order and then go learn. You know what I mean? Have someone help you get your IEP on point and then go learn. Um, then your child's taken care of and then you're learning, and you can take care of it from there out. But, I'm still trying to figure out the best way. Some people don't change their shirts. Yeah. Um, so, yeah, I try to do it on days that I put on my makeup, you know? So like I'll try Aaron. So like I'll get a bunch of shirts. You just see I like take them off my hanger and they're all like laying across my couch, right? And I'm like changing shirts as I'm doing them. All right. And I just make sure I have my makeup on for that day. Okay, now you guys know my, little secret. Okay, so the the way in which I'm going to do it is still in question. I'm trying to, well, number one, I don't, I'm a leader, not a follower. Okay. So I'm definitely not going to go follow how somebody else does it unless it's a way that I think is a good way, and then I'm going to do it better. Um, but I don't know if that group thing is the right way because, and tell me your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. You all would be the ones who would be learning if that would be something that you're interested in. Because how I'm looking at it, all right, yes, I do a lot of people were freaking out when I said this the other day. Is I said I'm going to start decreasing, not now, the amount of IEPs and all that stuff that I do and start teaching everybody on what I do and how to be advocates. Even attend IEP meetings with them while they're being advocates to just watch, just to be there because I can. You can invite whoever you want, right? So as you're learning and advocating, then I'm there, then I'm able afterwards to give that constructive criticism and say, you know, when this happened, and then if anything starts to really fall, I'm there to pick that up because I can quickly jump into action, and then you see what it is that I did when you were having kind of a pitfall, which we all have. So for me, I feel that instead of lecture, 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 which is boring as hell for me, I'm not really sure about you, but that's boring. Boring. I don't like to sit in class and just listen to a teacher write on a damn chalkboard. Okay. I got ADD. I gotta touch it, feel it, look at it, experience it. I can't just stare and learn. I just can't, you know? And it's kinda, and I don't have special, I mean, I guess I have special needs. I got ADD, you know? I gotta be moving and doing so that's why I feel like I'm sometimes so good at IEPs is because, it keeps me hyper focused, like I got a mission, there's a lot going on in IEPs, and so it's exciting and fun for me, Um, and the best part about it is getting the kids what they need, even if it takes some time. And that's the patience that you have to have, right, Kim and Bill? Right? So, like, things don't happen like over freaking night. And I remember, I'm gonna talk to Kim and Bill for a second. I remember Kim had said to me one time, she was like, "Oh my God, and this is not quoting her. Oh my God, this is taking so long. I just want to get this done." She wanted, everything in place for her child. Obviously, don't we all? And it was taking time. We have the evaluations that we do. We have, the IEP meetings. We have the IEP meetings that totally go to shit. And it's a complete shit show. And then we have the IEP meetings where we maybe pick it back up. We have possibly where we have to file for due process and mediation, settle in mediation, or even file for due process and mediation like her. And then guess what happened? They all came together. Bam. Okay. We don't even need to go to mediation because they're ready to come together because I guess they realized we weren't full of shit and we were actually not going to take their shit no more, you know? So all kinds of things can happen in special education. All right. And in an IEP and in your child's IEP and your child's story and your journey. And everybody's is different. You may have similarities, but everybody's is different. And so it's something that you have to have patience with. But let me just, and this is lengthy, but just hear me out for a second. Say it took a year. Just say it took a year. All right. Typically it does not take a year, but just hypothetically, 9 months. Sure. All right, but a year, no. But just take that and realize that getting your IEP on point to the point where it is so awesome. I mean, every last word. And if the certain words have to be, played with or it needs to be amended because, 3 months down the road, you're like, I don't really like that word anymore. We need to change that. That's an easy fix. The team usually does not want to waste their time coming back to a meeting to change a few words. So, I like to where I read it and I don't got no comments, which I've never done other than when I finish an IEP. But I like those good words, which is going to lead me into what I'm going to talk to you about today. So if you're on, I don't know about YouTube, but you YouTube people, if you can share, okay? Facebook group, I know you can share, but it's like, I think to your page and then the page, Facebook page, please share this, okay? This is really good information. It's from a due process case. It's something that was given to me recently, and it has changed so many IEPs since I've had it. And I've only had it a week. Okay? No joke. It has changed a ton to the point where I read it to the team. And all of a sudden, things change. It's interesting how that happens. It's like dancing and, you flow through the air and it just comes naturally. It's like you can have this aura and then I read it and all of a sudden that it changes completely, you know? It's like, why is it? And let me just take a step back. Here's the key to having a good IEP. And I've said this for years. One, well, there's a couple things, okay? All right, I always have a couple things. All right, so number 1, persistence, okay? Persistence. All right, I am a Leo. I don't believe in all that horoscopy, whatever it is thing, but I will tell you, everything that it says about a Leo, they're pretty right the heck on about me. All right? So, and Leos are the head of all months. Every month. Do you know the person that can go head to head with me, a Leo, is a Virgo. That is the only one. Do you know that? I thought this was really interesting. Is a Virgo can put a Leo in their place. Anybody a Virgo out there? I thought that was interesting. So I was like, of course, when I read that, I was like, bullshit. I need to find a Virgo. I need to have a Virgo go at it with me. I mean, how do you create that, right? But I'm like, I was seriously curious, like, how is it that a Virgo could put a Leo in their place? Because Leos are headstrong, go-getters, no bullshit. If we hurt your feelings, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but it is what it is, right? But we also are the most loyal people ever on the face of the earth. And we'll be honest with you to a T. You ask me a question, whether it's embarrassing or not, I'm going to tell you the truth. All right. So the thing is, that's something cool about Leos where there's other, I know Taurus, they're stubborn as hell, but sweet as you couldn't get a nicer person. I mean, you get all of that going on, right? So the reason I'm saying this is because not to get into, hey, when's your birthday month and what type of personality do you have? I am not surprised, Christina, that you're a Leo. I am not surprised. And what's funny is Leos either get along or they're going to kill each other. It's one or the other. It's so funny how that works. Like Skylar and I are Leos. So there's times where we get along great and we get each other. And there's times where we want to kill each other. And yes, this is my child who has autism. And believe me, she tells me her thoughts in very clear words. Pisces, I loyal, and I can debate. We do our research. What month is that, Bill? I wonder if that's my stepdad. Like he's like that. Like, I'll do and this is more on my other masters. But I will do a live one day that has nothing really to do with special ed, but it you can use it. All right. It's color personalities. And it's so true. You also have where your square, triangle, squiggly. So and it has to do with personalities, but I'll tell you, here's the thing with that is I was at a seminar when I was learning this and of both of them. And what I was a triangle and then I was, my personality was because there's yellow, red, green, and blue. So, and each one had a different personality. And then each one is attracted to an opposite personality. But it teaches you in IEP meetings how to deal with different personalities. So it does link. So it is kind of cool. So when you learn other things like that, it's so I'll do something on that sometime and I'll announce it. I'll make it like a what do you call it on Facebook where you can have what is it called that you guys can do? You can have an event or something, I think is what it's called. So, yep, one or the other. Yeah, totally true. Okay, March, April. Got it. Okay. So, let's get to this. Okay. So, I'm going to read it to you. All right. I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to tell you my thoughts after I read it to you because I want you to hear it. All right. So it says, and this is the judge of what he's writing when he's explaining, why he came to the conclusion he came to. Okay. All right. So we have a child. There was multiple different violations. All right. We got PWN, we got failure to provide FAPE, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So in this area, so all our kids are getting evaluated or should be getting evaluated every year, year and a half. Your triennial is just that. Every 3 years, you have to have an evaluation. So don't think about your triennial as something that, and if you have any questions, post them. I'll answer in a few minutes. So when you think of triennial, don't think of that as something that takes the place of. It doesn't. It's just something that's mandatory that you have to have and you want to have, obviously. So that year, that's just the triennial. So don't think of it, don't get it. I've had a lot of parents like kind of get it confused where, they're like, well, you say, to do the evaluation every year and a half, but if, what about the triennial? So you just do a evaluation every year. All right. And the triennial just falls within that 1 year that you're doing an evaluation. That's all. Okay. All right, so it says the school must ensure that if an assessment is administered to a child with, I'm not going to talk about this child's disabilities, but with one of the 13 disabilities, all right, the assessment results accurately reflect the child's aptitude or achievement level or whatever other factors the test purports to measure rather than reflecting the child's whatever the one of the 13 categories or multiple 13 of the 13 categories disabilities that they have. So you could say, speech and language disorder, autism, whatever it is. Okay. And then he states the law 34 CFR 300.304. Okay. And then the second thing he says is the school must also ensure that the testing instruments are administered in the form most likely to yield accurate information regarding the child who knows and can do academically, developmentally, and functionally in accordance. Here's the key. All right. And so that's one thing when you're reading either law or educational jargon, if you will, you have to be able to pinpoint what are those keywords? What are they meaning? What is this trying to say? And how does it reflect or affect me or my child?
Could you say that again? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, thanks, sorry, appreciate it. So basically, he's basically saying here, all right, accordance with any instructions provided by the producer, owner, like for example, Pearson, all right, of the assessment. All right. So evaluators are not allowed to deviate from how that assessment must be done. And that means that if you cannot use accommodations, those accommodations cannot be used. Do you understand? So, and it's not a civil rights violation. All right. Because you're evaluating a child in order to get a baseline and present level as to where that child is right now with nothing, no accommodation, no modification, nothing in place so that you can get that fresh, real clean bird's eye view. Okay. And so that is important. If you deviate from how the assessment is supposed to be given, it is insufficient. Okay. So he goes on, and that's basically what he says. Okay. So we're moving on. He says, however, he goes into accommodations that can be provided: frequent breaks, positioning of materials, allow easy access. If there's a visual that they need, sensory, additional time, et cetera, et cetera. He says, however, these accommodations are not consistent with the recommendations in the whatever the evaluation is which also called for, so it can call for different things. This one called for with contrast, central presentation, short time segments, morning testing, use of manipulative and of objects, and the use of development profiles in addressing the expanded core curriculum. So your assessment will have their thing. Okay. And you just have to know what that is. He goes on to say, the test results were not a true reflection, okay, because these accommodations were put into play when they weren't supposed to be put in play. All right. Um, they were not a true reflection of the student's cognitive ability and recommended further testing. All right. And then the assessor also acknowledged that she had gone beyond the standardization of the test to get completed in the testing session. So, for example, what that means is if an assessor, when they're going over the assessment, they can say something along the lines where, oh, well, I gave him a piece of paper to fill out, and write out his math question so that he could visually see it and be able to answer it accordingly, or be able to see, 4 times 3 and be able to solve that problem. Okay. So if that assessment basically says that they have to, solve that problem without a piece of paper, then they're not allowed to be given that paper. Okay. Um, and if they're given that paper, then that's what it means to, deviate or go beyond the scope of that evaluation, which again makes it null and void. Okay. So he moves on to say the IEP is developed for the student, because this is his end statements of the due process case. Developed for the student during these 2 years were based on the school's FIE, which is the evaluation. It's called different things in different states. Which on its face provides that the results are questionable. Additionally, the evaluator went beyond the standardization of the test that we just discussed. Which undermines the confidence in the results. Confidence in and this child also had an IEE, and the same thing happened. He wasn't able to complete these tests, is basically what it was. And so they weren't able to get a full read. So they went beyond the scope of the evaluation. Bottom line, both evaluations were null and void. All right. So it goes on to say nothing in IDEA requires a particular disability classification so long as the student who is eligible for special education related services receives those services. All right. And it gives the law. However, in this case, and then he says, in the years that was filed, the 2 years, the student did not receive access to an educational program that was individualized to his cognitive needs, for which the district still does not have an accurate picture. The failure to appropriately identify the student is a procedural error that has impeded the student's right to FAPE. Okay, so let me break that all down. All right, if I cannot tell you, all right, and those who have worked with me know that many of you may go through evaluations with your schools and you're quiet and you listen and you may have some questions or whatever. But mine is literally sometimes a complete debate. All right. Or it's a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I will argue to the death the bullshit that will spill out of their mouths on evaluations of all this low, below average, average. It drives me crazy because 99.9% of the time they're going off of percentages. And then they want to say that it at 14%, 15%, whatever is average when a percentile is based off 100. I've sat there and had a conversation, Aaron, in IEP meetings going over evaluations where they said, a certain percentage under 20 was average. And I said, can you explain that to me? Because average is 50. because this is based off 100, right? I already knew that, but I always ask questions like that because I want them to answer it. So she said yes. And I said, so how's it average? Well, that's just how the test is. That's just what it says. I said, oh, you mean the Pearson test and the manual. And the manual says that within these scores that it is then average, right? She said, yes. I said, okay, but that means that that child's not average. It means that score within all children of that child's age in the whole United States, that is what was average in the whole United States, not going off of 50 or 100. They gave you a try. All right. Do you understand that? So let me say that again. All right. Because it took me a hot minute to process. I was like, when I learned this years ago, I was like, what? Explain that to me again. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. All right. So when you see, like, for example, you'll see like standard scores. And if it falls between, I don't have it in front of me, but it's like what, 89 to 113 or something. Again, don't quote me. I don't have it in front of me. Is average. And you just go lower and it gets, below low average, below average, whatever. Okay. Or percentiles. All right. Percentiles are always, 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 always based on 100. All right. So if a child is 50, then their percentile of all children in the United States, all 7 million something, that of your child's age, say 10, let's just say 10. So your child is 50%, okay, average of all children. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now put that aside. All right. So 50% is average of 100 of all 7 million, whatever the number is, 248 something children in the United States that have disabilities. Okay. Now put that aside. Do not compare the next thing I'm going to say. Put that aside. All right. Here's the next part. The next part is if your child in the scoring, okay, this is where the test comes in. If your child is at 14%, and it says when the evaluator's going through the evaluation, it says average or, above average or whatever the case may be. Okay. And you're like, my child's not average in this. We know our kids. We know when they're not, proficient in something. So that's when you're like, this doesn't make sense, and you know what I mean? And I'm like, I know it doesn't make sense. The reason it doesn't make sense is because the test is based on all children in the United States of what was the average of all those children in the United States, not going off of 50. Okay. So percentiles are based on 100, 50 would be average. Put that aside. Okay. We all know that. That's an easy mathematical thing, and I suck at math. Okay. But on the other end, where the schools and the teachers, when they're reading things and they'll say, oh, it's average and your child's at 14%. And one thing that you do know, even though you may not know everything about the assessments, one thing you do know is average is out of 100. Percentiles are out of 100. So you're like, this is weird. How's the average, et cetera? But you're not knowing maybe what questions to ask. All right. It pisses me off because it's skewing the assessment. I mean, I've yelled at Pearson about this too. All right. Because it skews the whole picture. All right. We have parents that don't understand that, because I didn't understand in the beginning, what it meant. It took me forever to understand the difference of, okay, out of 100, 50 is average. Okay. I got that part. But then I would just bring that over to that 14%. And that was considered average. And then I'd get all confused and clusterfucked. All right. So put the 100% and 50% aside. We all know that 50% is half of 100. Okay. But the other part is when your child scores a 14%, say it's 25%, say it's, I don't know, 16%. All right. And say that falls, it says average, that the evaluator said, it was average. No, your child's not average. Okay. This is This is just keeping it real. All right. Your child's not average. All right. What it is when Pearson does their evaluations and they're recorded, all right, and they're done all over, what is the average percentile of most of the kids, of all the kids in the United States of that age? So what that means is that 14% is where most children fell. Not that they're average, because we all know that that's below 50, but that was the average score of all the children in the United States. Does that make sense? You love when, am I yelling? I'm sorry, Amber. I think it's more like I want parents to understand, and so many parents don't. And I mean, I have parents come to me and they're like, I just don't get this shit, so I'm like trying to, yeah, percentile, same thing, I mean, just think of it as that circle, line, circle, does that make sense? Amber. And I'm going to be all conscious of like yelling. I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm just loud. So it's funny though, Amber, I'll tell you this. When thank you. When I'm in IEP meetings and I get loud, that's when they'll say stuff like, you're being rude. No, I'm not being rude. I didn't say anything nasty to you. I didn't cuss at you. I mean, I sit and label it all. And then I'll say, so tell me, how was I rude? And they can't say anything. And it's funny because another thing that they do, and Karen obviously, just recently made a comment about this, is anytime you ask a question or questions or continue to ask the same questions and stay persistent and they don't like that question, you're all of a sudden attacking them. I mean, whatever. I don't care. I mean, if me asking, a bunch of questions to get to the bottom of where a child is attacking you, and that is your, definition of attack, people, y'all have not seen me in action yet. All right? Because if I'm attacking you, you're going to know it. All right? I can promise you that. So if I'm just asking questions, this is to all IEP, because guess what I found out, y'all? So, and this is all of us, advocates that are good. We're like trolled by the districts, all right? And they fabricate Facebook people, and I've started to realize, that's not a real picture. Or just different things, like TikTok. I've had a couple where they have this like jumbled thing, hi, how are you, Jess? How are you? Where that they're following you. And then here's the other kicker. Is if someone's following you, if they pop up on like people you could be friends with. And I've had directors of special ed and attorneys and other people pop up on people you could be friends with. And I'm like, what the hell? Which is so funny because like they think that, I guess that we're just big dummies and we won't realize it. I don't know. I love it that they'll follow me. I think it's great. I had an attorney in Tennessee who followed me, and I got a child into Linda Mood Bell for compensatory services for 24 weeks. By the way, they're $150 an hour for 24 weeks for compensatory services, which was insane. And the attorney said to me, we know how much you love Linda Mood Bell. So this is what we're proposing. And we negotiated it, but and it wasn't a mediation, so I can tell you about it. But obviously he'd been watching me, he kind of gave it away when he said that, so I found that to be interesting, but no, I want them to, shoot, please do. So yeah, so hopefully that makes sense because, when you see, and you need to question it, when you see 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever it is that's like a low number and it says average, your child's average, we should just know straight up that it's not average unless it's 50. Okay. And if it's under that, your child needs special education and has needs and has, whether it's cognitive, academic, whatever the assessment was. Okay. So, and if they argue, all right, and they will, if they argue and say, oh, well, your child's average, it says they're average, so they don't need any help. They're at 14 freaking percent, but they're average and they're not going to get assistance and help and support and accommodations because they're average. So that's when you check them on their knowledge and if they're even qualified to be educators. Because it could be the director, it could be, a teacher, it could be whatever. Usually it's the administration. All right. By the way, our superintendent was just fired without cause. So that was freaking interesting the other day. Our board meeting was a shit show. I mean, it was insane. I mean, how does somebody get fired without cause? I mean, granted, he wanted to resign at the end of the year, which who cares? He's allowed to. So weird, like, so watch out for your board. They're not always good. Okay. Ours sucks right now. Horrible, horrible, horrible. They're all against each other too. They all hate each other. It's insane. So go to your monthly board meetings, go learn about who is who, find out who they are, ask questions, go talk. We have 2 minutes or whatever that we can talk. You can do all that. You want to get involved with that. All right. I wish our superintendent was fired. He is not special education friendly. Our superintendent was actually not bad. I mean, they're all assholes and, none of them are out for all good. It's politics. All right. So don't kid yourself. It's politics. All right. But you can tell there's those that care and there's those that don't. And he cared. So it kind of sucks, because you can't take the politics out of them, but you can't make someone actually care, and he cared, so that's what kind of sucks. So now it's like God knows who's going to be put in. The assistant superintendent's going to be put in. She's a complete bitch. So God knows what's going to happen there. She's smart, but she's a bitch. And he was, men are more chill, women superintendents, God help you. I mean, if I was a superintendent, that would be a freaking nightmare. I would be a horrible superintendent because I'm not into politics like that. So I wouldn't make decisions like that, So I guess it's got to be in your blood. Who knows? Feel like I'm up against an army. Yeah. I'm good. I can't tell how many times they have told me I'm rude. Yeah, that's what they say. Because what are they going to say? You're asking questions. You're asking questions. You're asking questions. You're actually advocating, and that's what they throw out. Oh, you're rude. You're attacking. You're attacking my staff. Really? Now that is news. Please tell me how I attacked your staff. Did I call them names? Did I cuss at them? Did I degrade them in any way? Or did I ask them questions that you don't want them to answer? And then they shut up. That's what's up. Call them out on their stuff. Because that's what it is. They don't want that teacher to answer. They don't want you knowing what's going on. Why? I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out. Just like the child I had an IEP for yesterday. Why that child gets 3 times a week OT, which he needs, and that's 1-to-1, and 2 times a week speech at 15 minutes each in a group, and he's nonverbal. What? And then here's the kicker. All right. Nonverbal. Okay. Nonverbal. Then you have where the child, it was put into special factors. The exact words were his name qualifies for an AAC device in order to communicate his wants and needs. He qualifies for an AAC device because it specifically said he needed one to communicate his wants and needs. And it said that it went into the special factors, which it was. That was written, okay, in October of 2020. He didn't get the AAC device until October 2021. So 2 times a week at 15 minutes, speech in a group. And it took a year to order the AAC device. We put it in. We don't know what happened. Took a year. A year. The child had no voice for a year. His civil rights were taken away for a year. Not 2 months, not 2 weeks, not even 3 months. A freaking year. That's a first for me. That is a first. I had a first-time experience with obviously a piece of shit school district that let a child go without from what I recall, it's in the I'm going to buy the Constitution. What is it? Is that the paper? Is that what it's called? The Constitution, that big paper that rolls up or whatever. Is that what it is? The Constitution, right? So I'm going to get that damn thing. All right. I'm going to order one. Can you get it on Amazon? Do y'all know? Can you get that thing on Amazon? So I'm going to get it. All right. Because I can't go steal it from, DC. All right. Even though they're only 30 minutes from me. I mean, it's in the museum. I can't go steal it from there because it's on the whole wall. So I can't go get it there. I'm going to have to go to Amazon or something. Okay. No, seriously. So I'm going to get that damn Constitution thing, that paper, and I'm going to start pulling it out and rolling it out and showing them what the Constitution says. Because if I don't recall, there's something in there that says the right to speech and the freedom of speech. Don't quote me. I don't know it by law or by heart. All right. I don't know that stuff. All right. I do not know it by heart. But I know there's something in there about freedom of speech because I definitely use that one. So I know that one. So why is it that they removed that from a baby? He's 5, a baby. So he's been in early childhood special education since he was 2. They did PECs with him, which I'm trained in PECs. Sky did PECs. It worked great for her. I would make those Velcro things and, where I would teach her how to brush her teeth and it would be all the steps and whatever. It worked for her. I did baby sign, all that kind of stuff. It didn't work for this other child, which goes to show that all kids are different. So he needed an AAC device. And that is sad for a year to go by and for this child to not have gotten this device. So anyway, he just got this device and nobody's trained on it. So the dummies have removed his civil rights again because they're not providing FAPE because they don't know how to use the darn device. And when I asked the speech therapist, bless her heart, she was a very nice lady. I can't say anything negative about her as a person. But what she said was stupid as shit. All right. So what she said was, when I said to her, what is your training? Because it said in the IEP and in her evaluation that um she was showing others how to do the device, which he's using that Prolo Quo to go, which is not my favorite. I like touch chat. The Prolo Quo is decent and fine, and I don't have anything to say negative about it at all, but it's more difficult to use for everybody. So, it, but I mean, people may argue that. I mean, with me, I mean, I just found it. I mean, most teachers will say it's more difficult, and I've seen it, and it's more difficult. Touch chat is a lot more user friendly. Um, but bottom line, it doesn't matter what he's using as long as it's a good program. They're not trained on it. Okay. And so I asked her, I said, so what is your training on Prolo Quo to go? Now, mind you guys, I'm really not. I'm a, okay, so I'm a fly at the mouth. All right. I definitely, have words that I say. I feel like I was married to the military for quite some time. So I just learned, you know, saying a cuss word, here and there was just like normal, you know? And any of y'all out there that have been military wives, you know what I'm saying? So, bottom line is, if someone's gonna come at me with a response, and this is a adult conversation, I don't do stupid. If you're an educator and you're educating children, administrator, I'm talking about the whole team, not just teachers at all. Honestly, the teacher didn't. I wasn't even dealing with the teacher. The teacher was actually really nice and very smart and she was great. But okay, so we're talking to the speech therapist right now. So I said, what's your qualifications in Prolo Quo to go or an AAC devices and stuff? And so she says, well, we were taught, and when I was working on my master's, I was like, I have a master's and I didn't learn anything about AAC devices. When, we're taught how to use them there. I said, oh, okay. What is your experience on Prolo Quo to go? Well, in my master's, this is what she said. In my master's, we had training on the devices. I said, oh, so you had training on the Prolo Quo, program. All right. Because an AAC device is not just an iPad or a tablet or, earphones or whatever the kid, because AAC devices is tons of them. Okay. It's not just a tablet or an iPad. All right. So, assistive technology is what it is, okay? It's more of assistive technology. AAC is more the device. Um, and so I asked her again because she kept saying the same thing. I said, "What?" And I did break it down like that because I was asking the same question 50 million times. I was done asking the question. I said, and I said her first name, and I said, "What is your experience in Prolo Quo to go?" Not that you learned about AAC devices in your master's degree program. I don't care about that. What is your experience with Prolo Quo to go that gives you the ability to teach this child how to use it and teach others? She didn't say shit. Not a thing. She said, well, um, that's what I've had. So, in a nutshell, this is where I am with that. Okay. Number one, I'm not making fun or ridiculing or anything else in regards to that she didn't have training in it. None at all. But don't you dare go try to train other people in a program that you're not even trained in yourself. I don't give a crap what you learned in your master's program about AAC devices. Really? Really? Excuse me, but as a parent, okay, and I'm as picky can be when it comes to Skylar. All right. He's gonna start crying. And I don't do BS. All right. Do If Raven memorized the entire Constitution before an IEP, that would be a fun show. I'm gonna memorize it now. Is it long? How long is it, Bill? Because at the what is it? I think it's the Natural History. Is it the Natural? No, American History Museum is where it's hanging on the wall. Because I've taken my kids, I've seen every darn. We're right outside of DC, so like we've seen every darn museum at the Smithsonian. Cool one is the Spy Museum. That one's really cool. And what is it? They have the African American one is new, and then there's a Bible one. That one's pretty cool. They have some newer ones too. Long, but you read IEP information, so you got just memorize the preamble. Wouldn't that be funny if I started quoting that stuff in IEPs? Okay, so what I was saying to y'all, okay, Stephanie says they only want to do things the way they want to do it. Amen. And not acknowledge every child is different. I am currently fighting for a BAP, but they are pushing back because my son is in a behavior program that basically, hold on, I lost my spot. That basically has a blanket BIP. There's no such thing. A blanket BIP? What's that? For every child. Well, what works with one doesn't work with a. I don't know what a blanket BIP is. There's no such thing in IDEA, special education law, state law, policy. There's no such thing that says, hey, if your child's in a behavior program, a blanket BIP takes the place of a BIP. Because from what I recall, all right, it is a procedural violation. Okay, it's not that I don't recall or do recall. I know for a fact that if a child has any type of behavior issues, that a child has to be evaluated, meaning a FBA, not a informal FBA that they try to do. What do they call it? There's this one place they called it. It's in Texas. They called it a FBR, a functional behavior review. So instead of a functional behavior assessment, FBA, they called it a FBR, a functional behavior review. Be mindful of that because they're using that trickery. All right. Stay away from the review. Screw the review. That's subjective data. I don't care about what your damn opinion is, y'all. I don't. Just like this judge. He didn't give a rat's butt what your opinions were. All right. What he wanted was the data, the tangible data. I want to hold it in my hand. Okay. If you're taking data the way you're supposed to take data, I can hold it. I can see it. I can see either graphical data or, data that's taken along long periods of time that's going to show me the ups, the downs, and the normalcy of how a child is going to grow and make progress because it's going to be up and down. You and I don't have this straight up learning process. Nobody has that unless you're just some genius. I mean, I'm pretty smart, but I don't have nothing to just go straight up. Everybody has that up and down. Children with special needs have more, where they aren't making anything, where you got that line, or they'll have lower lows and then they go back up. All right. But bottom line, you gotta have data. You gotta have data. You gotta have data. I'm on a teacher web Facebook page and stuff like that. And a lady had posted, she was a teacher. She had posted, is there any advocates on here? And, I said, I'm an advocate. I mean, I didn't advertise and I don't do that on other groups. I have respect and, I was on that group because I wanted to participate and talk with other fellow teachers and stuff like that. And um I don't advertise who I am or what I do on any other page. You can go look. I don't do it. Um but when that was said, I mean, a bunch of people said following. I'm interested. I don't want to teach anymore. I want to go. I'd rather advocate. So I posted that, I was an advocate and I got 50 million, it seems like, messages of how do I contact you? Can you help me, get started? Can I be an LLC? How do you get going with advocacy? Blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was really cool that, well, not that we'd be losing teachers, but that it was cool that, they wanted to be on this side of things. That was promising. So basically the program has its own set of rules. No such thing. We were told that takes the place of BIPs when he entered middle school. I know this to no be true. You mean not be true? I'm calling a review. What's a review? What's a review? You mean an IEP? You're calling an IEP? Okay. There's no such thing as, oh, we don't do BIPs because we got a program that it's just a blanket BIP. Everybody's got a BIP. It's the same thing. Everybody falls under it being in this program. No, that is them feeding you bullshit. All right. That's them not wanting to deal with you. They don't want to have to do a VIP. And they're throwing the label of whatever the class is, to skew you away from and steer you away from wanting that VIP because they're wanting to gaslight you into believing that, well, that's taken care of. We got it handled. That's frustrating. Well, what are you going to talk about in the review? I mean, what's there to review, really? I mean, nothing to review, more so to call them out. Y'all are liars. I don't like liars. Okay, y'all lied. There's no such thing as a blanket. All right, BIP. There's no such thing as a program that takes the place of a BIP. There's no such program that takes the place of an FBA being done because your child's in such and such program. I mean, this is how stupid that sounds. There are private schools that children are sent to because they are unable to acclimate and it work in the public school. So the public school then funds for them to go to a private school. Let's just say hypothetically a school for children who have extensive behaviors. Okay. So this school is specific to behaviors. There's one here, in Richmond. And guess what? They all still got to have a BIP. And this is a behavior school. That's what it is. For children with special needs, their biggest concern is behavior. But guess what? They're still going to have BIPs. I'll tell you why, Stephanie. What are they following? What are they following? If you don't have a BIP or an IEP or accurate present levels, then what are they following? Calling them out that whatever they are doing for behavior is not working. Well, no, don't do that. No. You do not want to go into a meeting to say whatever it is that you're doing. Don't do that. You need to know what they're doing. All right? Because you need to itemize that crap. You need to be able to count it off. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. How successful is that? It's not. It hasn't been successful in 5 months. The reason why it hasn't been successful in 5 months is because my child doesn't XXXXX. That's how you got to approach it. You can't go in there and say, whatever it is y'all are doing ain't working. Now, I've made that comment many times, but it's based on data. Okay. So you can't go into an IEP with this kind of, thought process of it not work. Now, as a mom, okay, I see what you're saying. So, for example, as moms, we can say, that's not going to work for my child. They don't like pancakes. He ain't going to eat it. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? All right. But the thing is it doesn't matter, unfortunately, because they don't care what parents say. Oh, they'll act like they do. Oh, they will act like they care about what you have to say, and they care so much. And, you're part of the team. Yet everything that you said, oh, we're going to take notes on that. We're going to take notes. That's what we're going to do. Well, let me take some damn notes on what you're saying then. That's what I'm going to do. From now on, I'm going into IEP meetings, and if they tell me one time that they're going to take notes on what I have to say, then I'm going to take damn notes on what they got to say. And nothing's going to go into place because we're all equal team members since we're all taking damn notes on each other. That's going to get kids everything that they need. You take notes, I take notes. All right, we got notes. Now what? That drives me nuts. We put that in the notes. We put that in the notes. That's a good t-shirt. And then maybe on the back of the t-shirt say, kiss my ass. No, I'm just kidding. But I hate that. I hate it. It's like, we're going to take notes. We're going to take notes. Okay, we put that in the notes. Okay. We need to flip that. We need to all do that. Think about if we all did that in IEP meetings and everybody did it and said, okay, if you're taking notes, I'm taking notes, which means that nothing's going into the IEP because you're taking notes and you're busy doing that. And I'm busy taking notes, which means as equal team members, an IEP isn't getting done because we're so busy taking notes on whatever the hell we're taking notes about. Because in all reality, the only thing that should be going into the PWN is what is discussed, meaning what is proposed and refused, why in detail, and, why was something proposed, why was something refused, all of that kind of thing. All right. And in your PWNs, you better make sure that you respond to every single one of them. I download them. And then I upload them into Adobe Acrobat. Then I export them from a PDF to a doc. And then I write in red underneath all their crap. And I correct everything that they do so that they're clear on their notes. Hi, Cindy. Amber says, just had a school not send notice of IEP. You mean the meeting invite? Yeah, sure. That's a nice clean shirt, Erin. No, I want some dirty shirts. I want dirty shirts. I'll have some nice shirts too, y'all. I want dirty shirts though. I want the shirts that, say what I really want to say. And you nice people out there that are just listening to me, I promise you, you are going to be where we are. All of us parents who are done putting up with the bullshit, you're going to be there soon. I promise. Y'all, you're not going to want to be friends much longer. If you start advocating for your child, I promise you, you're going to not think I'm so crazy anymore. Okay? Like I'm really not crazy, but if there's anyone out there that's like just starting and they're wanting to be friends with everybody, once you start advocating, they're not going to like you. And then all the bullshit's going to happen. Okay? So I just want to tell you in advance. Okay? All right. So the BIP thing, again, You need to call them out, but you need to know what it is that's not working. At least have some idea, because you don't want to say, you don't want to, like, you can go in and say, okay, whatever it is you're doing isn't working, but you don't want to not have things that you're noting. You know what I mean? Shoot, no school has liked me whatsoever either since day one. Yeah, me neither. I mean, I think they did day one. I think I got at least one day, Jess. I think I got one day. Um, you know what? I honestly don't care. I got everything I wanted, so I don't care. I don't care. Like me, don't like me, hate me, don't hate me. I'm cool with whatever it is as long as my daughter gets what she wants. I don't care. I was very happy when you said, "Get her the hell out of my face. We can't deal with her anymore." That's exactly what they said about me. Get her the hell out of my face. We can't deal with her anymore. Bye. See ya. Have a nice day. Thank you so much, though. Shoot, that's all you guys want. Who cares what they say? Who cares? What you need to care about is that your child gets what they want. So if you're a pain in their ass until they say yes, shit, be a pain in their ass. Jake was promised a, but here's the thing, guys. Let me just keep it real for a second. All right. Things that I ask for. All right. So anybody out there that's new and they're like, this girl is crazy. All right. Here's where I'm really not crazy. Okay. When I ask for something, I have 500% reason to ask for it. I do not ask for things that are not individually needed for that child based on data. Okay. So I am an advocate that gets a child what is needed for them and will fight to the death for that. But I will not continue to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight for things that are not necessary. There's things you fight for, and there's things you don't. Now, if it's given, take it. But what is needed and appropriate in order for FAPE to be provided and that child to make progress and have educational success is where the key is. For example, that's my puppy. He's mad. He's in his little cage. One of the things you have to, like, I'll just give you an example. I have a school team. Actually, shoot, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, it's Hampton City Schools. Okay, there's a child. All right, that is 5 years behind. This is how mad I am at the school, so they can kiss my ass. The child is 5 years behind, and she's in high school, just beginning high school. 5 years behind. Mom is livid. I'm livid. That like hits home because that's where Skylar's struggle was. And that's why reading is a passion for me. If you want me to fight, it's reading, behavior, and then services. Reading and math, but they kind of go hand in hand. But they don't even want to talk about compensatory services. What the hell is wrong with them? They don't want to. And then here's the crazy thing. It's on recording. I record with Loom, so I got my whole screen recorded. And this is what they did. All right, she changed the IEP in our face on the screen. Said she was going to send us the IEP that she changed on the screen. So I got proof she did it. Then she sends an IEP that had none of that stuff in it. Thinking that I guess I wasn't going to catch it. And then bullshitted as to why it wasn't changed. Those are the things that school districts do that make me nasty. I have no freaking tolerance for it. I don't care if you think I'm mean or rude, because what you just did was rude and wrong. And the craziest thing is, all right, we're adults. Okay, I'm an adult. More than likely, you guys are adults. I'm guessing there's no kids on here. As a parent, it's hurtful to us as parents, right? But who it's really hurting is the child. So that game was against the child, not you and me, but it is against you and me. So you and I caused a reaction that hurt our kids. Now, hear me out here. The only way for you and I to not cause a reaction, for our kids to not get hurt, is to kiss their ass. So that's why I've said to parents, you either kiss their ass or you fight. It's as simple as that. I mean, we call it advocating. We do. We call it advocating. I mean, sometimes I'm advocating. Really, I'm fighting. I try to advocate. But in all reality, I tell schools, we can get along great and collaborate, or I'm game for World War III. You choose. I don't care which one you want to do. I mean, I've done them both. So pick one. I guess I think of it too as Skylar's got her TV on like all kinds of loud. If you're going to play games with me, then you're messing with the wrong person, because I'm a catch 'em all. I played too many games when I was in my 20s. I was a hellion. Okay. So you play games with someone who is really good at doing that, they're going to catch you. Just like when kids do things to their parents that the parents already did, sneaking out of the house, all these things that kids do, guess what? We're going to know what they did because we did it. So in schools, or when you see schools do things over and over and over and over and over again, you get to the point where you just expect it, that they're going to play games again, once again. And then, you have parents like I have where, they want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and they find out real quick what I said was truth. But I want them to learn. And so we go with that and they learn. But it's unfortunate. Really is. Skylar. She probably can't hear me because her TV is so darn loud. All right. Hang on. Did you guys see the puppy yesterday? Jake was promised a para. Here, let me just put this up. Jake was promised a para. He doesn't have any anymore. It is in his IEP. They said she is out sick, but he was falling behind again. Well, Cynthia, how long has he not had a para? And they need to have someone, in line. It can't be with what you're saying. People are getting sick. I get it, all that stuff. But they need to have something, a backup. I don't care if it's the principal has to come in. Did you know that they have to do that? The director of special education here at our schools had to go teach one day. I mean, granted, she's a teacher, but but the director had to go teach because you're going to have to fill in for people. And what's happening is the directors and, administration are not wanting to go do it. Administration needs to be helping our teachers. Four was, what do you mean four? Four was? Like 4 days, like 4 days or something? Is that what you're saying? So do most kids with autism IEPs have or should have FBAs? I mean, I don't like to compare, but a lot have. I mean, an FBA is just the evaluation. So yeah, most autistic children have had FBAs. Most. Now, do all children with autism have BAPs? No, not all of them do, but a lot of them that don't should. And the thing is all right, let me get my puppy and tell Sky to turn her TV down. But Skylar, Sky, she can't hear me because Zilla. Even if your child has one or two behaviors, three behaviors, and not like 5, 10, or whatever, or what would be called more serious behaviors, the thing is they only have to have a behavior to be given an FBA evaluation. And the thing is I don't know why schools have a problem with putting BAPs together, because that is what's going to ensure that behavior is going to be taken care of, versus like behavior goals being put into the IEP, which is what I'm not a fan of. I think that the goals should be there. Okay. But I think a BAP has to be in place, because that's the action plan. The action plan is the BAP. The goal is the hope that they master it. See the difference? So when school, if your child has, just say your child has one behavior, and that one behavior is escape, not escape from the classroom. That's serious behavior. That's safety and behavior. But escape from doing work. That's a big deal. That's going to hinder their educational progress. They need a BIP for that. No goal is going to change that. No goal of the child's going to work on social, emotional, behaviors and keep their hands to themselves and blah, 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 is going to create an action plan in which to teach that child to remove the negative behavior and to implement the positive behavior. No goal is going to do that, because the goal is to, have something accomplished, but no goal that I've seen that has to do with behavior has anything to do with the child is going to do this instead of this. You know what I mean? Like a goal is more, the child is going to sit at circle time, for 15 minutes without getting up and disrupting whatever. All right. And it can even have short-term objectives of, it's going to start out with 5 minutes for the first quarter, 10 minutes, then 15 minutes kind of thing. That's a behavior goal, that the child's not going to get up from circle time, and their length of time is going to expand based on, getting to that goal, starting off smaller and getting to that goal, but a BIP is a plan of action. Okay. That's what I like. I like plan of actions. All right. I don't like notes. Screw your darn IEP damn notes. Give me a freaking PWN. Okay. Put it all in the PWN. I'm fine with that. But quit taking notes in the IEP about what I said. Okay. Because I'll write it for you, or I'll send you a copy of the recording. You can go, have it transcribed. All right. But just don't tell me in an IEP meeting, okay, we took note of what you said, Miss Woods. Ask any of my clients what I say. I don't care what you took notes on. I don't care what you took notes on. Take as many notes as you want. You're still going to create action here. I want action. That's what creates change. Action creates change. Notes create nada. Notes create frustration. Notes create anger. Notes create, you name it. It makes me crazy. And you don't want me crazy. ABA is great, but it's not for everyone. And don't believe any of those people who say ABA is just a bunch of bullshit and it harms kids. And go to my page, all right? I only have like 2 negative things. It's not negative. One of them is, "Oh, ABA therapy is horrible, and this is what happens to them," and okay, I don't push ABA on anybody. I like it. It worked for my child. But does that mean it's going to work for yours? Absolutely not. But it worked for her. Well, real well. But again, it comes down to the who and the how. That is going to be a shirt. Oh my God. Who and the how. Who and the how. Like, start singing that to the team. Who and the how. Who in the how. Who in the how. Sing the alphabet. Who and the how. Who in the how. Okay, start doing that. Start singing. Who, how, how. Okay, who, how, who. Okay, who is teaching the child? How is it being taught in order for them to learn? Is it being taught in a way in which that child, not that child, but that child learns? If not, they're not qualified. Did you know that? So here's the deal. So a lot of, schools will say, "Oh, she's a licensed teacher. She's qualified. She's highly qualified." Okay. No, she's not. So I've got 2 master's degrees, but try to get me to teach math. Those kids would be teaching me. Couldn't do it. I took double algebra in 9th grade, and then I struggled getting my bachelor's and having to take statistics. And then I had to take, with my master's, I had to take what was called quantitative methods. And I really struggled with that. I had tutoring and everything. And I got by with a C. It brought my GPA down. I was pissed off. So I graduated with a 3.8. I get you. We just tried to supplement a behavior goal with SDI and SA. Yeah, I mean, behavior goals are not bad. I'm not saying they're bad at all. What I'm saying is that if a child, let me see, how do you take this down? I don't know how to take this down. I don't know how to take this. Do I have to put it somewhere? Oh, yeah, here we go. Ha, I learned. Okay, so for example, all goals are good if they're written appropriately and measurably. But that cannot take the place of a plan of action. That's why when I teach in my big course, Rock the IEP, I teach my PPPN system, a plan of action. All right? Plan, prepare, present, persuade, and negotiate. In that order. If you can do that, you got this. Practice makes perfect after that. That's why I trademarked it. Nobody can take it. And it's proven, which I think is kind of cool. I love saying that now. What do you think? Okay, so yes, I do. Jake has started ABA and he's responding. Good. I gotta go. I'll watch the rest of it. Bye, Jess. See you later. Yeah, I should get off here. Hour and a half. That's a long time. Okay, I've talked too long. Have a good day. And follow me on TikTok. Click that follow button. And YouTube. Okay. And Instagram. But follow me on TikTok and YouTube. Okay. Go do that. I'm giving away a gift card. I posted it yesterday. All right. I'll see you later, guys. I'm ready to go too. So, I wanted you to know that stuff in reference to what the judge ordered. I thought it was golden. And it's something you need to remember when you go over evaluations, because by golly, it's going to save you when it comes to your argument of my child needs. Okay? Because when you start hearing them say average, you're going to now know, no, that is not that my child is average. That is that 14% is where children at 10 years old fell. And that is how they came up with an average number, because no child did get 50%. Okay? I'm not saying no child, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow. And we will have some more stuff that we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of take it back to direct instruction. All right. It's a big one. So we're going to go talk about that, and we're going to kind of formulate some things together tomorrow. But yes, I know people asked. Yes, contact me. You can contact me on WhatsApp, or if you want to PM me or DM me, and I'll give you the link or whatever to WhatsApp. I can do that. And we'll go from there. Okay. Because I have 3 spots. All right, guys. All right. Have a wonderful afternoon. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.